Hello, 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 collective. Welcome back to the channel. I am MC5D Astrology and Tarot. Welcome to the full moon reading in the zodiac sign of Cancer. This moon is known as the wolf moon. So we're going to go ahead and get into the collective message for this full moon. I'm very excited. We have some amazing downloads, a lot of good energy on the board. As you see, I've already pre-shuffled, pre-pulled the cards. We also have Bumblebee Jasper here as well too. So if you guys are not familiar with Bumblebee Jasper, this may be a crystal that will help you get through this energy going into the next full moon in Cancer, whenever that may be. So please feel free to look up Bumblebee Jasper, see the benefits of it. I'll probably talk on it a little bit towards the end of the video, but I want to go ahead and get into the energy. There is a lot of different downloads and a lot of energy I'm picking up for regarding this full moon in Cancer, which is known as the wolf moon. But before we get started, let me go ahead and sage the energy out. And of course, we're going to go ahead and get into prayer. Now, if you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, please make sure that you share, you like, you subscribe, and turn on your post notification bell. Everything is always in the description of the video. And also, if you go to the About in the YouTube channel, you will see the different type of content and see exactly what this channel is about. So feel free to watch the videos that resonate with your soul. All right. Hold on, let me give this a little bit more. Let's give a little bit more. But I hope everyone is doing well. We are in 2023, so a lot of new changes, a lot of new beginnings will be taking place. So we are excited about that as well. But let's go ahead and get into prayer. All right. Grand rise, divinity, and beyond of all creation that exists around us. Protect us from the energy that does not serve our alignment and balance from within. We reject anything that does not serve our highest good. Thank you, Divine, for all things above and below all things, and for rising our spirit to the occasion of love. Continue to guide us as we experience another part of your creation while we journey this thing called life on Earth's skull, and send to us the awakening and allow us to be in our authentic energy at all times. All right. So collective. This is a big energy. This is a big energy that we are dealing with at this time with this full moon in Cancer. Now, before we get started, I kind of want to touch on a little bit of the astrology and the zodiac of the energy and then go ahead and get right into it. Now, for any of you guys who may not fully be aware of astrology and things of that nature, Cancer is a zodiac sign that is attached to the fourth house of the astrology wheel. The fourth house is ruled by the Cancer zodiac, okay? And the fourth house is all about home. It's about our self-care. It's about our emotions and the foundation. It's about the mother figure. It's about our family. It's about the woman. It's also about our roots and femininity. So a lot of feminine energy is involved when it comes to the fourth house. What makes home home? You know, what have you been taught about self-care? What have you been taught about your emotions? How does that play into your foundation, your children, the feminine energy within you, your mother figure, your roots? What are you grounded and rooted in as well too? So a lot of feminine energy going on right now at this time with the full moon in Cancer. And since it is the wolf moon, it's very interesting because everyone knows about the wolf pack. We talk about the wolf pack all the time, and we also talk about the lone wolf, which I got some downloads about. But one of the first downloads collective I got was there's no place like home. There's no place like home. And on this card right here, you can see there's a road and she's following the chakras, right? So it's like a journey that the wolf pack has been on. And you come from a wolf pack and then you had to go on your individual journey, which was the lone wolf journey. And that is what the collective is going through now. Everyone has gone on the road and everyone is at a certain place within the crossroad or that road. And now it is time for that particular lone wolf is what I'm getting to find its new wolf pack. So that is why the energy is coming through as there's no place like home, because there's been a lot of things that has happened while you've traveled on this road go to find yourself, to find your purpose in life, to find your value in life, to work out things within yourself, to heal yourself, to heal relationships around you, but most importantly, why you're here on earth, right? And just your soul tribe. So a lot of people were being pushed and pulled and called in many, many directions, and intuition was guiding everyone, okay? So at this time, you're going to see a lot of different people that were once a part of a certain wolf pack now go into the phase of finding their true authentic wolf pack. You're going to start to see people in the collective who are a part of a wolf pack then go on the journey of being a lone wolf in order to transform so they can find their authentic wolf pack. All right. So there's really, really good energy here, but I did get that download of There's No Place Like Home. Okay. I also got some downloads regarding mating back with your authentic tribe. All you lone wolves will finally meet your pack. So it kind of ties into what I was just speaking of earlier regarding the journey of coming into this world, being born into a certain family, having a certain mother, maybe certain siblings. You were taught a certain form of emotions. You made that your foundation. You have a routine about yourself where you believe that is what self-care looks like, self-love looks like. You have an idea of what femininity is. You have an idea of where your roots are, or what is that for you. You have an idea of what a home is. You have all of these ideas of what has been taught to you. And now I see the collective taking what was taught to them, and they are now starting to question that. They're starting to research and dig deeper behind that, because something within them, it wasn't settled. It wasn't sitting well, is what I'm getting at. So I see that now the collective is saying, hey, it's mating season, right? It's time to go back and to find who I truly am. And once people start to do that, or starting to do that, it's automatically waking up the collective to go towards their authentic path. So that's really some beautiful energy. What else did I get? And then I also heard it's been a minute, but now I'm back. Okay, so a lot of you guys have been in what I like to say hermit mode. You guys have taken just a moment back from society in order to figure out your next move. Some of you guys are just laying low when it comes to new dreams and aspirations that you have and the way you want to move forward. Some of you guys are just now being introduced to who you truly are, and you're falling in love with that. So you're ready to reintroduce yourself back into the world, back into society. So that's some beautiful energy as well too. But yeah, been gone for a minute. Now I'm back. All right. I see some of you guys are going to have an amazing summer. You're going to have an amazing summer. It's like you guys don't know how to act, like you've been gone for so long and you finally are coming back. You're feeling good about yourself. You're feeling good about the direction up ahead. You're feeling good about your choices, and you prepared and set yourself up for success. Okay. So with this full moon in Cancer, I want to tell a short story because it's interesting that this is the wolf moon. I went recently on a trip. It was like a camping trip. And it was in November of 2022. So like about a month or two ago. And while I was on this camping trip, it was a really amazing trip. It was in Tennessee. And I got to just really unwind and relax and just have an amazing time. One of the experiences I had while I was on that camping trip was the first night that I arrived, the stars were so just immaculate. There were so many of them. The air quality was, of course, much better in the mountains, but I felt so special because I overheard a group of wolves, like literally a group of wolves I felt like it was a ceremony, like an initiation. They started like chanting or singing, you know how they do. And it's like you hear one and you hear another, and it just keep going and going and going and going. And it sounded like it was a lot of wolves. And so they weren't too far away from where I particularly was, but they weren't that close. But they're close enough, okay? Because it felt just like being like I was at a musical. It was very beautiful, but it was very just intense. I don't know if you guys have ever had the experience to witness, to hear a wolf pack all be together and to chant or to howl, whatever that they do. And then all of a sudden it just went quiet. It got really, really quiet and silence, as if they went their separate ways, right? So I wanted to tell that story because in that moment, I realized that I was going through my own initiation process, that I had made it to the other side, that it was time for me to take a leap of faith into the unknown, and that I had already made that choice to do so. And there was going to be so many new things up ahead, but it was unseen things, which kind of ties into when they went quiet. When I say they were howling and doing what they were doing for a good little minute, and then all of a sudden it just got quiet. It got really quiet. So I'm like, where did they go? What's going on with them? That's what I was wondering. But I wanted to tell that story because they were all together, right? What I got from that was, you're going to start off with a group of people in your life, right? Whether it's family, friends, or a certain location. And then even with having that around you, you have to find your own self within this particular environment that you're in. And after you find yourself, some people do find themselves, other people aren't as fortunate to find themselves as quickly. So they're still wearing the identity of that immediate environment, that friend group, that family group, their ex relationships, what society tells them to do. But you do have a select few that wake up to the calling of that howling. They wake up to their inner true self, which allows them to be a lone wolf. It allows them to go out into the world and to be alone, but at the same time, they're never really alone, right? Because now what's happening is they're on their journey to continually hearing that call, that wolf pack call, but this time it's going to be a voice of something more familiar. And when I say familiar, that's when we speak of been gone for a minute, but now I'm back. There's no place like home. The download of mating back with your authentic tribe. All you lone wolves will finally meet your pack. What I feel right now is, wherever you are within this journey, like this card, whatever root chakra you're currently on, everyone is on a current path. And on that path, you're going to encounter new wolf packs. You're going to encounter some people who decide not to go in that wolf pack and go alone. There's many storylines going on in the collective, because again, everyone ascends and awakens in their own different type of way. But most importantly, with this new beginning, it's going to bring in greatness. It's going to bring a type of transformation. A lot of the collective have been praying for a moment where they could finally be free, where you could finally be yourself, where you finally felt at peace, or you finally felt like, I'm living for the first time. It's one thing to exist underneath someone else, or just heard exist underneath a rock. So maybe some of you guys just don't feel seen or didn't feel seen, and you're on the journey of, what does self-identification look like to me? How can I make myself home? What are my roots? What do I incorporate and what do I want to be my family? What type of mother or feminine energy do I want to embody? How was my mother to me, right? My children, the child within me, how is that child within me doing? How is the children around me, interacting with me in order for me to be in union with people? It's just a lot of energy at this time. But what I do here is cleaning up shop. A lot of us are just tired of an old paradigm that we have been birthed into. And a lot of these new generations, including myself, we're just in a position now where we can bring what John Lewis used to always say, and rest his energy, is good trouble. Okay, so I see the collective moving towards good trouble, right? They're kind of tired and over a certain way of living and being, and just certain lessons that don't serve them anymore, and they've outgrown it. So I see that you've outgrown not only just the old version of yourself. It's like shedding a snake. It's like when snakes shed their skin, but you just have outgrown yourself. And the divine is saying, I need the collective to shed their skin, because underneath that skin is something brand new. It's beautiful. It's more hydrated. It's ready for this new journey. And if you look at a snake doesn't intentionally stay in old skin, right? A snake knows when to shed its skin. So it's also about knowing when to leave things behind, knowing when a certain door has closed, and when to allow yourself to either lock the door or just walk away, and knowing no matter what, you're not going back to that door, and that it's locked no matter what. So this is also about protecting a new beginning, a new journey, okay? And since we do have the wolf card out here, I want to touch on this really quickly, because it says turn knowledge into wisdom. All right. And so what I see for this is that there's an evolution of the collective where you're going to literally take everything you have learned from your past, everything you've learned, all those trials, tribulations, those long nights, early mornings, the blood, sweat, tears, the cries, the moments that you had where you were knocked all the way down. Some of you guys may not have had a roof over your head. Some of you guys have coming out of really toxic relationships. Some of you guys are just coming out of jobs that you didn't really care for. Some of you guys are just now realizing what you really want out of life, right? Some of you guys are just in new seasons of yourself and you're wanting to share this with the world, but it's all about understanding that everyone in the world isn't going to be accepting of it or ready for it. But no matter what, your knowledge is your truth. Your wisdom is your truth. And you know how to move accordingly, no matter whether you're by yourself or with someone else, right? Because you have identified parts within yourself and also along your old paradigm that made you who you are, that made you stronger. So you guys, I see just a group of people taking everything and using all that they got to push through. You're coming up with new business ideas. You're coming up with better creative ideas. You're traveling more. You're taking your pain and you're turning into knowledge so that way you can educate and teach other people so that way they have the wisdom to absorb it so they don't have to go through it. So I think that is beautiful for anyone who's, instead of sitting in that drama or sitting in that sulken place, you've decided not to be a victim, but to be victorious. And by being victorious, you realize that knowledge is power. And sometimes learning can be painful, right? It can give you a headache, okay? So I see the collective, y'all, we've had a massive headache for way too long. And instead of taking man-made medicine for it, we were taking spiritual medicine for it. And now we are spiritually equipped and spiritually ready to go out into this new journey and be a lone wolf. And I see the collective, it's kind of like some of us, again, are becoming a lone wolf or realizing we need to be one in order to get to the wolf pack that serves us. Some of us have already become the lone wolf and now we're just in the lone wolf phase, you know, and then I see the rest of us have already gone through those two phases and they're the lone wolf, but you've already come into contact with your tribe. So I just see people really waking up to less is better. Less is better in the sense of I don't need a whole bunch of people around me to be happy. I don't have to go out to feel fulfilled. I don't need 15 different men or 15 different women. I don't to feel happy. I don't have to date simultaneously all at the same time in order to bring balance and joy to my life, because the lone wolf period teaches us how to fill our own voids, which is filling our cups up. And a lot of us took time out to do that instead of just in the streets moving and retaking the same lessons over and over, but not learning the lessons because we didn't stop for a second to be that lone wolf, you know, to have those moments of sorrow and to cry and to be sad or really just heal the behavior pattern, okay? So, and it's also tying in what I'm hearing is because of how we were taught, and then how we were also neglected to be taught, which is why I love the Cancer and energy fourth house, because it's water energy. It's nothing but the heart, right? It's about your heart. Where is your heart at this place in time? And the collective, I feel, and what I'm hearing is you were pretending to have to wear a mask on your heart, and it got tired, it got old really quickly, and you don't want to be in any situation in your life where you don't feel appreciated, where you don't feel loved, where you don't feel valued, where your self-worth and your self-confidence isn't exuding through. But in order to have gotten there, you had to know that there was an issue with your self-confidence. There was an issue with codependency. There was an issue with abandonment issues. There was an issue with how you grew up and you needed to address it. There was an issue with how you went about approaching dating or just approached, life in general. There was an issue with communication. There was an issue with, your career field. There was an issue, and people are realizing that they took those issues, which are lessons, they re-study that study guide and they turned it into knowledge. And when it was time to retake the test, a certain group passed that test. A certain group did not pass that test, and a certain group are about to take the test. So everyone collective are on 3 different journeys, okay? So divine is saying just practice some self-love and to understand that everything you went through was only meant to make you stronger. Everyone is coming out of a very emotionally cold season, okay? When you look at just how much heartbreak is what I'm hearing the collective had to go through, whether it's coming from the fact you came from a broken home or your home ended up being broken because of people's choices, right? What you rooted your energy and your time and your loyalty in, right? And how you made that family, who was considered family, who was considered friends, right? How you nurtured people around you and nurtured yourself, right? The community around you, and how are you serving the community, the children? How are you serving yourself? Your feminine energy, right? I see a lot of the collective when it comes to women just loving more on each other, but learning how to first love themselves. And then the self-care. I see the collective not overextending themselves or being in a space where you realize you were overextending yourself and you have to pull back your energy because you were draining it. You're turning the knowledge into wisdom. So therefore I hear the collective saying, I know how to say no. No is a full sentence. I know how to say no without having to explain myself or feeling guilty or allowing other people's energy to gaslight you, manipulate you into feeling guilty for choosing yourself and choosing to make sure that you're where you need to be so you can show up into the world and show out. But when your cup, fourth house energy, is not full because you're overextending yourself in your career and business and wanting to be here and do that, it messes up your inner home dynamic and things start to crumble. So I see the collective having to go through a massive shift of also realizing what is important to them and what is not, what is valuable and what is not, what money can't buy and what money can buy, and understanding the dynamics of prioritizing those things so they can be in a place of standing on their own 2 feet. I just see the collective rising up and saying, I've been on this crazy journey for way too long. I know now how to stand on my own 2 feet because I did the work. Because you did the work. And for anyone who has not done the work, there's a journey coming up ahead. So Spirit is saying, get ready for that storm, because we're about to turn your lessons into knowledge so you can have wisdom. So the divine is waking up everyone on this full moon regarding the wolf moon, because it is time to speak your truth. It is time to speak into the universe the truth, because the universe already knows the truth. They're waiting for you to be real to yourself about what's really going on in your life and the choices you made and how it got you here. All right. So that was some of the downloads. So I do want to kind of touch on a download. They want Spirit World wanted me to talk about the importance of a wolf pack, the importance of being a lone wolf, and then finding your tribe. So please know that a lot of us may have gone through a phase of questioning, like, how come this happened to me, or why did this person come into my life, or why me, right? We see that sometimes in the collective, people trying to just figure things out and not understanding things. And sometimes we can absorb that energy so much and we get so upset and mad and angry where we forget the bigger lesson, the bigger picture within the lesson. So the wolf pack is more so what I'm seeing right now. It's just it's a layer of protection, right? It's just like how a woman has a baby. The baby's in the womb. It's in the placenta to protect it. And it's a certain amount of time in nurturing and love and hand molding and crafting that has to go into creating what is in that bubble of protection, okay? So the mother wolf, right, is always going to protect its womb, protect the newborn, the unborn that's going to come into the world, which is going to be lone wolves coming out, even though they're in a pack. So then you go through that phase, right? And then all these lone wolves come out, and you have these amazing energies that are just as strong separately, but stronger together, but just as strong separately, right? So it's a lot of beautiful energy. The thing is, wolves are designed to not be codependent. They're designed not to be codependent. So if we're designed not to be codependent, then what happens in the world is you can be birthed into a family and then realize that family, you know, how they say, yeah, this may be like my blood family, but, you know, regarding my real tribe, like my spirit family, the people that I'm energetically really in alignment with, I haven't met them yet, or I'm starting to meet them. you realize that the divine had to place us all in different tribes that were different from the tribe we spiritually are tied to in order to help everyone grow. So it's like a soul spiritual contract that you have with the universe saying, hey, I need this particular lone wolf from this wolf pack to go over here into this wolf pack, become a lone wolf, realize that that isn't the original wolf pack, but there's some lessons and due diligence that needs to happen there, because it's going to help everyone wake up, so that way they become a lone wolf and they understand what their situation is and isn't, and they go towards the right wolf pack. It's a spiritual calling on everyone's heart right now. It's a spiritual calling on everyone's mind right now. Everyone's vessel, everyone's chakra to go home. There's no place like home. People are tired of being lost. So right now it's about, how do I become found? And the only way you can become found is if you allow yourself to be found. And what I mean by that is, you have to be honest about your journey. You have to be honest about what you want out of life. And when you're truly honest about it and you look it in the face, no matter how ugly it is, and then you decide the steps and the tools that it's going to take in order to pivot you out of that, that is when you start to really awaken and ascend. But when you sit in the same energy over and over and over and over, days and days and weeks and months and years, doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and you think that's all life is, and you never question anything outside of that, that is what the divine is also waking up within the collective, to know that there's so much more in life than what is taught to us, that we're not even living half of the potential we can be living actually in our energy. They said forget potential, really living what you truly are. So they want us to realize that we're in the season now of being a lone wolf, understanding that we all can stand on our own 2 feet. We all have what it takes in order to be great. We don't have to codepend on anyone. We enter our own dependency, which is interdependency, which allows us to be in union and healthy partnerships with other people without projecting, without, feeling a certain way or having to manipulate that energy to be within your presence, or feeling like you can't let go of something, because you understand that this is just an experience. Nothing belongs to us. Other people do not belong to us. Even the children that you may bear out of your own womb or you adopt, they do not belong to us. We don't even belong to us. We belong to a higher energy source. So understanding what it means to be by yourself, so you can learn as much as possible about yourself and about the world and about others. Turn that into wisdom and knowledge, and then realize your purpose so you can go out there and give this energy back. So I see the collective waking up to, I want to serve my purpose. I want to be here and be better for myself. I don't want to experience the same thing I've experienced for 20, 15, 10, 5, 7, 8, 3, 4, however many plus years. I know who I am, or I want to learn who I am. So I think that's some beautiful energy, because now you guys are going to attract exactly who you truly are and what is more befitting to who you are. But it is going to be some, I've seen, where, again, the 3 groups, some of it's hard to digest to even have to admit that out loud. Some of you guys are just in a place of acceptance and healing it, and the others just like, I'm ready. But it's just like that old door is trying to pull on your energy, but you're already gone. Like, they knock on the door, but nobody's home. And it has nothing to do with their energy per se, because I hear people in the collective being spiteful and stuff like that. It has nothing to do with that. It's just that a certain energy that you were attached to at a point in time, it was choices they made. Just like when you were attached to them, it was choices you made. And they were spiritual choices, whether we knew it or not. And those spiritual choices led us to either continue on a path or to break ties with that path in order to latch onto another path. We're just in the season of certain things no longer align with where you're going, right? So you have to be willing to just go with the flow and allow the universe to show you and help you understand why certain things and places were taken away or removed, or you were distanced. It's all for everyone's protection. It's for everyone's protection because everyone's journey is different. So what may look like protection on one person that was in a situation compared to someone's protection in the same situation, it's different. One protection could be to protect you from this energy because they're not ready for the energy you have to receive, and they could manipulate it and try to bring you down, and you're in another karmic cycle. And then this person's energy is more of like the divine's like, hey, no, I need your attention because you're not learning your lesson. So I took this person out of your life, and now I'm trying to really shake up your world so you know never to do that again to someone. On top of that, you have to look within yourself and self-identify where it's been done to you and why you're, doing what you're doing. But it's just a healing process. And then you jump over to paradigms in the sense of having to also go back into a situation where you have to retake a test, but I call it the exit exam, so the divine can show you how to have grace and understanding towards people that you once that in that same energy, or somebody did it to you. But usually 9 times out of 10, we've been in both seats. So it's more of like an adrenaline rush of divine saying, don't you forget how far you were taken, how far you went, how far you had to come in order to be the new version of yourself. And always remember, someone is always going through something just differently in evolution. So don't hold on to the people, places, and things and be upset with that, but turn that upsetness into and put it towards the lesson and fuel the lesson and be like, you know what, I will never have to go through that again because I learned the lesson. And anyone who was supposed to be in my study group to learn the lesson, if you guys are still learning it and maybe you moved up ahead, you just need to pray for them or send them peace and balance to learn the lesson. Because everyone has been there. Everyone's been there because nobody's perfect. Okay. So that's what I got for that. And then I have a few more downloads collective. What else do we have? I had some downloads about the triggering a new dawn day era equals moving into new charter territory and coming out on the other side of the new dawn day lesson. And then I have a download that said basically bye-bye old wolf pack, which is equivalent to your old life, your old character, all of that. And then I have hello lone wolf pack, what is about self-discovery. And then it goes back to hello new wolf pack, the new chapter of the authentic tribe and your new family. So really quickly, collective with that download, it reminds me of the story I told at the beginning about when I went on that camping trip, because a new dawn to a new era, right? So the next morning, like, when I woke up or whatever, it was sun out, what had happened the night before, or earlier that morning before, everything has shifted and changed, even though that energy was still kind of lingering on, but it was just a new day. So I see like the collective being triggered in a good way, but also a challenging way. Depends on how much work you've done regarding a new old paradigm, which we don't all realize that we're actually in a new paradigm no matter what. So it's like one night, the wolf, I'm saying that one particular night when I heard the wolves say it's night outside or whatever, that's considered an old paradigm. But whether we knew in that same moment, we were already moving into a new paradigm. We were just more caught up in what we could see or believe or feel or what we saw. But it's like waking up and like the next day your whole life just completely changed is the best example. I'll just leave it at that. But I just see that something had to end, which is a new beginning, in order for something to trigger, right? Something got triggered, something got touched, something was close enough in proximity basically for something else to occur. And so now the collective's moving no matter what. Everyone is shifting and moving in new territory. Even if it's the same lesson you got to go through again because you haven't learned a lesson. It's new. It's still going to be a new face, new day, or the same face, different stuff, but more intense to get your attention. But nevertheless, it's just moving in new territory, new charter territory, right? And we're coming close to a door in order to make a choice to come out on the other side. So I also see after this period, the collective coming to the door. Now you've gone through the lesson, everything, you have a choice. So you're either going to just stay right there, and be like a clogged pipe, you know what I mean? Or you're going to make the choice to go into another direction, because the only other direction to do is to turn around and start over again. And who wants to do that? Who really wants to continue to do that? Nobody, some people aren't haven't awoken in the sense of understanding that's what they're doing, and they're about to. So once they do, they're not going to keep doing it. Some people are just so egotistical and caught up in just the everyday materialistic life and the titles and, what the world appears. It's like the 7 of Cup energy, where they believe that they the whole wolf pack, like, that they're bigger and badder than anyone and everybody, right? They use their energy for the wrong things. You're not going to catch a wolf out here just killing animals just to kill animals. You're going to catch a wolf killing something to eat it. It doesn't waste its energy, its time, or its resources on things that don't serve it. If a snake or a lion or somebody's full because they just ate, they're not going to want to eat again. But if you come at them and you're messing with them, they may have to defend themselves. But other than that, they're not out here intentionally just wasting resources. Okay, so that's the same thing as the lesson. Are you going to intentionally keep doing the same lesson over and over? Like, you know what I mean? Why do you want the same third grade textbook over and over and over? You keep having to buy that same math book, right? I'll just use that as an example because you keep having to take that grade over and over and over. Don't you get tired of wasting money on the same resource? Like, and you have to buy that new book, Spirit is saying, every year because something changes in the book. So it's not like you're able to use that same book you've been using because you're in that classroom. Because of what, like I said, the lessons change within the lessons. So I see the collective understanding that they don't want to repeat. They don't want to repeat knowledge that's not working for them. They don't want to waste time. They don't want to waste resources, right? They want to move towards that door, make a new choice, move out of it. They're okay with being triggered. The collective, I also see you guys are going to have to be okay with being triggered. It is a part of life. The more and more you allow that door of trigger to open and to go through the trigger door, you're going to see it's not as bad as it appears. But when it starts off, yes, it's like being shot with like a rubber, what is it? Those, little pellet guns. It don't feel good because what's happening is it has to penetrate you the way it does and catch you off guard because it's been dormant in sleep. So it's like you're getting your own self's attention. You are the universe, remember? So the universe is working with you. You are the universe, so you work with the universe. So you're triggering yourself basically because you haven't allowed the triggers just to be. You haven't allowed it to be. So I see everyone waking up and just saying, you know what? It is what it is. I'm done with the old. I'm going to do what I need to do in order to change the old. You're going to change and do what you need to do. And then an opportunity, a door comes for the new. And everyone's saying, hello, I finally made it. Hello. This wasn't all for nothing. This was for something. And I see a lot of the collective realizing that now everything you've gone through was for something. Some of you guys have some serious testimonies. Oh my gosh. Some serious testimonies. You could heal a whole nation. I'm telling you. But you got to be authentic to yourself and you got to be real with yourself. And a lot of the parts of us that are real and authentic are the parts we run from. So that's why Spirit has to get us alone, because this is the wolf moon. Get us as being alone so we can understand who we are and accept who we are. Some of us just need to accept life and understand why life is the way that it is and heal from what life has thrown at you. I think if we come at life from an understanding and wanting to learn and hear life's story, nobody asks Mother Nature about her story, right? But we make the story for Mother Nature, and Mother Nature's constantly telling us, no, this doesn't work for me. So we see these tornadoes, we see these tsunamis, we see earth, we see all Mother Nature trying to cleanse itself because we keep giving it something it doesn't want. So I see the collective realizing what it wants and what it doesn't want. Some of the collective already realized that, and some of the collective are waking up to having to get to work to even be in those other two areas. All right. And then lastly, download, I got reawakening the fourth house, the 1 to 4D dimension, heavily equalizing of the inner feminine energy, stronger together and stronger apart, right? So this is for the collective of energy who has already been on the journey of the lone wolf, and now you're in your authentic wolf pack. You're about to either meet them or you've met some of them already, regarding that. Okay. This particular season for you, it's going to be heavy, heavy, heavy in the sense of good energy coming through, because you're awakened a lot differently than the people that you used to be around, or even some of the people you're currently around. You have a certain palette of activation within you that when your energy steps into a room, steps into a crowd, when you go out, you're magnetic. So you're going to automatically, collective, wake up everyone. You're waking up and shifting energy within people to wake up. And usually when that happens, because of the power level that you're at, everyone who was dealing with the dark night and the light night of the soul that's unbalanced, which we call the people call it, refer to the dark night, right? All of that energy is going to start to be what, like we talked about, the triggers. And so some energy is going to be the type of energy like, you're a breath of fresh air. I've been waiting for you to come in. Where have you been all my life? And just, go with the flow. Some energy is so blocked they can't even receive it, but they know something's going on because they're a little agitated. And some energy, when I say the divine's been trying to get their attention for some time now, and they have not been doing what they're supposed to be doing. So you sent to come course correct certain actions, a certain saying, you're basically like, no, the divine said go that way. So that's how impactful your energy is going to be. So some of those individuals are not going to like it, because you're going to really disturb the inner beast within them. That is, it's like people call it demons or whatever, however you want to put it, but it's just the inner beast within someone that needs to be tamed. And when you've been living a life of real carefree, you've gotten away with a lot of stuff, or you've been doing things to people, or just, you don't have no limitations. Nobody's giving you no boundaries. And once some type of limitation or boundary is put on you, you have restrictions, Saturn energy. It shapes things and shifts things a lot differently. So what I see is you're gonna have a collective of individuals have to wake up, because they literally interacted, I'm hearing, with an earth angel, with someone who's very intuitive, someone who's rooted in the spiritual mother tribe, someone who is in alignment with a lot of their intuitive gifts and psychic abilities. And because you interacted with that energy, you have no choice but to wake up. So what happens is, when you interact with that energy collective, their life after they meet you or while they're meeting you is going to change forever. So once you remove yourself from that energy, because usually that energy is going to end up doing something for the relationship to have to go its separate ways, right? Like, you came and you taught, you conquered, and you went on about your business, right? That's the same type of energy I'm seeing with those energies. After they meet you or you've interacted with them, whatever shape or form it may be, their life will never be the same, is what I just heard. So to that group of the collective who's making that impact, divine is saying you have to be very careful within your walk, because you're going to have people and energy try to throw you off and throw you out of course and put you back on the course that you just came out of, which was the course they're on. And spirit is saying, remember who's a teacher, remember who's a student, because you've already learned all these old tricks. So that's why you're up here teaching. But don't let an old trick holla and trick you out of teaching to go back into the seat of having to be a student, because you took to the calling the wrong way, is what spirit just said. So that is for the new group of collective really tapping in. Now the group of the collective, the other group that's a little bit further out than that, I'm seeing where you guys are at the point where you can read it coming from a mile away, baby. The lessons and the time and energy you put into passing your test with the divine, those nights you were up crying and praying, some of y'all on y'all knees, some of y'all crawling, some of y'all boohooing crying, you were going through it. Some of you guys so angry and upset, like you were going through behind the scenes. And this is the group that, like, these are the ones with the deep, deep testimonies that most people would never know what you've been through. They see your success, they see the outsides and stuff, but if you really were to tell your story, these folks, it would be mesmerizing, whether you know it or not. It'd be like, what? Like, it would be like, I had no idea. Oh my gosh, I had no idea. That's the feedback I'm getting from the universe telling me to tell you guys. So that group of people, you just see a lot of things coming from a mile away. But the thing is, even though you're more advanced, spirit is saying, in your evolution, because everyone evolves differently, there's another level coming, because now you've reached a certain level. Now you've extended yourself up. So Spirit said, now I'm finna introduce you to a brand new playing field. And Spirit is saying, remember this whole journey where you've come from, because now you're finna go on a whole new journey, but it's not gonna be like that, but it's gonna be like that. So that's the thing of paying attention to the signs and synchronicities that are around us collective regarding how to shape and how to move during this particular full moon, and how the fourth house impacts us regarding our self-care, our emotions. What are we emotionally founded in? Do we know how to handle certain places, certain races, certain conversations, certain backgrounds, certain beliefs, right? Do we know how to handle certain people's personalities? Because there's a layer of personalities out there that a lot of people, no matter where you are in the group, you haven't met, and you're about to meet them. And it's going to give you a run for your money, is what Spirit is saying. So that group I was speaking of that's well in advance, now you're finna come into a season in a group of people that this is a brand new level of people. It's like people, you can be like, wait a minute, it's a whole nother life, regarding how they move. So I also see it's equivalent to, like, imagine going into a different tax bracket, like you up there in like the millionaires, 100,000aires, billionaires tax bracket. And once upon a time, just maybe 6 months ago or a year ago or 2 months ago, however, it could have been yesterday. You never know how things shape in your life, but you were in a completely different tax bracket that looked nothing like that. Nothing like that at all. So if that's the case, that's a completely different world, Spirit is saying, that you're going to have to learn, adjust, understand, get to know, make acquaintance, make good with, have boundaries with. It's a whole nother world. So think about it like that. It's a different from flying a private jet versus flying, first class, or even first class to flying, what is it, coach? Or even business class, whatever you want to call it. So everyone is leveling up. It's time to level up. So with that comes more growth within our dark night and our light night of the soul. So everyone's going to get lit on fire. It's just how you handle it. Do you know once you get lit on fire, do you just complain and let it burn you up? Or do you know, oh, I just got lit on fire, let me put it out? See, that's the one of the biggest lessons. How long are we going to sit in the fire before we put it out ourselves? Because we know the fire is occurring. Are we going to continue to make choices and make the fire worse? Or are we like, nah, oh, I've learned that lesson before. It's just showing up differently. I know exactly what to do, because you remember the overall root of the lesson. Don't get caught up in the story and the characters, people, on this new journey. Don't get caught up on the faces and the charming and the words. Pay attention to people's spirits and their souls. It's going to tell you everything. Pay attention to how they move with their spirit and their soul, how they're treating people, how they treat themselves, how they treat you on this new journey. Because you're coming out of old paradigm. So this new journey is going to teach you something much more. But it's going to be a very emotional journey. And it can be a very vulnerable journey, which allows you to what? Turn knowledge into wisdom. And you know how to handle yourself no matter where you at. That's the lone wolf. So if you holding your own accordingly, there's going to be some other people that know how to hold their own accordingly, and y'all going to run into each other and folks are going to be like, oh my gosh, that's a force to be reckoned with. Them upstairs, him upstairs. Shout out to Brady Mac. And then lastly, we have, I just want to say you guys are going to be equal. You guys are coming into union. This is a little love message real quickly, you guys. Collective are coming into union with your equal. Some of you guys are already in union with your equal. It just looks differently. Like I said, it's just been a completely shifting, a change, an ending for a beginning for an ending. So the way love shows up and how you love and who you love is just going to look different. So Spirit is saying, be okay with how you go about loving whatever your situation is with your partner. Because everyone's situation is uniquely catered towards the divine and what the divine wanted those individual energies to help people understand on earth a lesson. So you don't want to put yourself in a box or a category like everyone else when the divine is saying, oh, no, I gave you a specific book to read to the collective. So I need you and your partner to read it, however that shows up in your life, okay? So don't be so quick to want to be in someone else's book when the divine gave you a specific book to be in so you can help people learn lessons in this particular lifetime. So Spirit wanted me to throw that out there. But lastly, you guys, we're going to go ahead and get into the chords. There's a lot of downloads. I didn't expect it, to be that long, but it's all good. It's all for the love of the collective. For the love of money. I don't know why that song just came out, but it did. All right. Anyways, the inner soul is being grounded, you guys. I love it. I love it. I love it. Realigning with your inner child regarding your cup energy. And we were speaking on the 4th house. Kind of almost forgot about that download, but the cup energy is heavily out here. So I just see a shift in the collective again within their own feminine energy and their own masculine energy. And I see everyone working together where they're turning the temperature to the correct temperature that works for the inner family tree, which is allowing people to show up in the collective more grounded, allowing people to have more to offer the collective in a way that they're being themselves. They're not wearing a mask. They don't have to pretend no matter where they go. They feel comfortable in their skin everywhere they go. People don't have to question how they move or how they interact because they know they're in authentic energy. So I see that realignment, and it's starting with the inner child. It's starting with being honest about who you truly are and your heart's desires. And the collective is going to wake up to that. What are the new roles within the collective that we're living in, the time we're living in 2023? What does that look like for the home? How does that look like regarding roots, the foundation, right? What does that look like family-wise? The women in the world, the mother figures of the world. Well, what's going on? That you're going to see the shift within that. Start to tell a story. Start to tell its story. Start to weed out stories that were being told on its behalf. Start to reveal truth, right? So the self-care is about, really also the inner child regarding the cup and the spirit being full and the grounding and things being realigned. That's a new word. But anyways, because I just made it up. But I see the collective realizing that self-care, mental health, care, emotional health care, spiritual health care all ties into the physical and what shows up on the physical, around the physical. So I see the collective realizing like people are going to start thinking for themselves. The lone wolf energy, thinking for themselves and not allowing anyone else to dictate this journey called life on earth anymore. People are going to start waking up and realizing that my story is important too. I didn't come down to Earth School to read about this story no more. Keep hearing about the same story over and over and over and over and over. And they did this and they did that and we did this and we did that and we conquered this and we conquered that and we're like this and we're like that and celebrate me, celebrate me. Oh, I got a holiday, celebrate me, celebrate me. We're coming out of that. We're coming out of that energy because it doesn't serve us. It just doesn't serve us. At the end of the day, everyone knows how to read. So now it's time for the collector to pick the book in the library that they want to read. And because nobody really knows themselves, or that's one of the things that people are going through, self-identity issues, midlife crisis, things of that nature, because we don't know who we are, because we don't know how to be alone, to learn who we are, to get the wisdom, to get the knowledge, to be around people that are receptive to that and respect those boundaries and understand what it means to want to be healthy and what it means to understand what healthy is and what that looks like. So everyone is now in the library and Spirit's just like, okay, you guys can pick your own book out the library for the very first time. The only book that you don't get to pick is his story, because we've already read that book. So everyone pick a completely different book. And the thing is, everyone, the books in the library, what they're showing me, it has our name on it. So if I was in the library and I saw a book with my name on it, and I could pick any book, and all these other books have your name on it, it's just like being assigned a seat or a chair. You're not gonna go sit in someone else's seat if they name on it. You're gonna go sit where? In your seat. So therefore, you're gonna go do what? Pick your book. Because at the end of the day, if I wrote a book and I came into a lifetime, I remember I wrote a book and I see that, oh, wait a minute, I wrote a book, I'm absolutely going to pick that damn book up off the bookshelf and start reading it so what I can remember. And that's what we're all going to be doing, awakening and ascending to our own story, our own Bible, our own El-Bib is what I call it. Because Bible backwards is just El-Bib, and that just means story in Spanish. Someone's story. And everyone has a unique story. No matter how similarly uniquely similar they are. Everyone's story is still, you know, it has a little different art touch to it, is what I put, you know. It's just, you know, the art got its own flow. They just do what they do. It's nothing. It's no energy like them. That's how we all are, because nobody, we can't be duplicated. All right, so I see that for the collective, and that is the downloads that I got. I've wrapped y'all with downloads for like almost an hour. See, that's how the readings are. Cards are just, you know, secondary. But all right, let's get into the cards and see what is going on. Oh, well, before I do that, I wanted to read what the wolf moon is, and also Bumblebee Jasper. I'm going to do that. And it is 5:15, and that is literally the time I was born, in the PM. And anyways, side note. But okay, so Bumblebee Jasper, like I was saying at the early beginning of the read, you can look it up, whatever you need to do for this crystal. But this is the crystal that they put on my heart for the collective, and it's called Bumblebee Jasper. So what is Bumblebee Jasper good for, you guys? Stimulating the sacral and solar plex chakras. Bumblebee Jasper raises our self-esteem and enhances creativity, helping to ease stress and worry associated with others' opinions of you. Okay, so it makes sense because everyone's becoming their own lone wolf, right? And even though you're a lone wolf, you're still within a wolf pack. So like I said, everyone made a choice of what door to go through. Everyone is on different journeys of this process, but nonetheless, wherever you are, no matter what, you're gonna either be prepared or you're getting prepared to know how to not be worried about anyone else's journey, and how to maintain and stay within your lane, so you know why you're here and what your lone wolf's story is about, your journey, your purpose, and you can go out there and do what you need to do. So I just see a lot of energy being protected and not being distracted by what people have to say, what people may think, what people may feel, how people may judge, you know, what people may not understand. Because if you don't understand something, that means it's something that you haven't learned yet. You know, you don't know it. So the thing is, we're on earth to learn, and there's so much resources and information to learn. So if you want to know something that you're not familiar with, or somebody's doing something that you're not familiar with, either Google it, research it, you know, go to the library or ask them, have a conversation. There's just too many ways of understanding. So it should be no reason why anyone is, they say, misunderstood. Okay, Spirit coming with all of that. So that is that. And then I wanted to touch on this really quickly. I wanted to read to you guys what somebody put on one of their platforms. So shout out to my girl, Queen Cup. If you guys aren't familiar with her, you should definitely check her out on YouTube. Miss Destiny, but yeah, Queen Cup is dope. But she put something on her channel, and I wanted to read really quickly these 3 things, so that way you can also have that as a takeaway as well too, regarding just the message for yourself. But what does the wolf moon bring? The wolf moon is said to represent the final ending of cycles ahead of new beginnings and moving toward new light and opportunities as the day grows longer. In astrology, this lunation marks a similar time when the promise and potential of the new year ahead invite you to reflect on your subconscious dreams and desires. All right, you guys. And then the other one is, what is so special about the wolf moon? The January full moon is called the wolf moon because this is a time of the year that you are most likely to hear a wolf howling. All right. And you know what? My experience during Thanksgiving of last year, collective, we're all in, it's just all making sense. You know, even I get something out these messages as well too. But nevertheless, January is the wolf's mating season, hence the increase in wolf howls. Okay, so that's what they were out there doing. Okay, for example, April Fool's month is often referred to as a seed moon or awakening moon. Okay, That's one more. And we have one more. What is the power of the wolf moon? Apparently, during the wolf moon, you are to figure out what you need to have a successful life and focus, to clear those stagnant thoughts and replace them with thoughts of growth, change, and action, and to let its healing light enhance self-trust and self-reliance. I love it. All right. And I also see January 19th of 2022 on the screenshot. So definitely January 19th of 2023, and I heard 2024. So it just marks, what I'm hearing is another shift in the energy that we're speaking of. Something's going to happen, another transition's going to occur. And, it's just, it's time, it's allowing the collective to continue to move forward and to progress. So even though we may feel stagnant in the 1 to 3D because things don't move as quickly as we would like, always know that it's always moving. It's always moving. It's always moving. Energy's always moving. We're actually not stagnant. It just may appear, just like, the retrogrades, it appears, but, that's what they say. All right. So let's see. We have recovery with a key. I like it. And we were talking about the door and the key earlier, how some of the collective, you're going to close the door. And we have wisdom. Love it. Wolf spirit and wisdom. Y'all, we can't make this up. And this is the green, the heart chakra as well, too. Look at Mother Nature coming. Looks like the hermit a little bit to me with the dove, like a message. But look at this. You can see it. That's interesting. So we got wisdom twice. So it's also showing the collective knows a lot. The heart knows a lot. It's tied to our intuition. All right. And that's why we have recovery as well, too, because it's like we're unlocking our heart's most desirable of desires, right? We're expanding of expansion, and we have balance. Yeah. So we're just going to new heights, but with recovery, and there, it looks like a heart that she has in her hand. It does look like a heart a little bit. I don't know if you can see it, but it kind of looks like a heart, unlocking a new door of evolution when it comes to love, redefining yourself, finding the true you and tapping into that energy. But I just see like the divine, we made a choice and the divine's blowing us in the direction now of what is best for us. And it kind of reminds me, these two women remind me of, like I said, coming to union with people. And either you're going to be the teacher and they're the student, or vice versa. And either they're going to stay or they're going to end up, going on another cycle. But either way, the choice is there. So it's like new opportunity, new chances. With those two things right there, it's like the Two of Wands, infinity, making choices. And knowing and understanding you have the wisdom to do so. Let's see. Butterfly spirit in reverse, card 11, which 11 breaks down to 2, which is the second house, which is ruled by feminine energy, this Taurus energy, that's the Empress energy, and we're talking about the 4th house. So that's interesting. But butterfly spirit transformation is beautiful. So yeah, this just comes from, okay, so Bumblebee Jasper, they just show me like, okay, they want me to use my experience. Ugh, they're so lame. Okay, so transformation is beautiful, but butterfly spirit's in the reverse. And we're talking about the wolf, the lone wolf, just the journey of it, the wolf pack. And we know there's been a lot of treacherous waters, a lot of craziness that has happened on this journey for everyone, okay? Everyone's gone through it. Everyone's been emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, just, everyone has some type of story. So with the butterfly spirit and transformation, inner beauty, it reminds me of like a cocoon. So we're already in the cocoon, whether we know it or not. So we are going to transform. But this is more about a mindset. It's more about a mindset and what we're telling ourselves, because we have to remember what we've learned in our wisdom. So it's about grounding also our minds, and calming our minds on this new journey and trusting our intuition. Because if your mind is just too chaotic, you won't be able to hear yourself. You won't be able to hear your inner voice. So therefore your ego is just on repeat. It's like a bad Christmas playlist just on repeat over and over and over again. And it's getting old. It's just like, okay, enough is enough. So I just see this transformation, and they're wanting me to use the story because this is Bumblebee Jasper. This is like the mountain, and we're in Capricorn season as well too, because it's January. And having with the Cancer full moon coming up on the 6th, which is tomorrow, the 4th house and the 10th house are mirror houses to each other. Okay. And 10 plus 4 basically breaks down to a 5. So the fifth house is Leo energy, and it's very passionate, it's very romantic, it's very creative, right? And the butterfly is a creative transformation. It's a creative process to see a caterpillar go to um, a butterfly, or to see a baby cub go into like a full-blown wolf, and what a wolf can do on its own and what they can do together. It's just beautiful, but nonetheless it can be painful regarding the transformation. So we have to remember the wisdom that we recovered along the journey that turned the knowledge into wisdom, was what I'm hearing right now. So the story I have behind this is, I've since growing up, I've always had an issue with bees. It was always something about a bee always messing with me, and I was always minding my business. But I was very young, so it happened when I was young, and it was like 2 or 3 times, like when I was young, and it was the same bee. I think it was either a hornet. It wasn't a yellow jacket. It was like a hornet or a wasp or a hornet. But I don't want to say it was a hornet. But one time when I was out to eat when I was younger with my mom at McDonald's, minding my business, sitting down, I was a little kid, and it just planted itself on my head, and it just stung me. So that was an experience. Another experience happened outside as well too, with my mom, she said. But then another experience happened where we were at my mom's friend's house, and she was having like a little cookout barbecue, and I was on her porch, and they were grilling outside, and this wasp, hornet, whatever, was flying around me. So you guys already know I was already a little PTSD about that. So the next thing you know, it was too close, and it got me so quick. It landed on my head again, another one in my head, and it stung me. And I'll never forget my mom's friend, Valerie, she took her cigarette, and like, she was calm, cool, and collected. It was the craziest thing. It was funny. And she was like, "Oh, come here, it'll be all right." She took her cigarette and put it in my head and like took the stinger out, and I was all good. But I had some pain. And I didn't have allergic reaction to any of the times that I got stung, by the way. But I just always had that experience. I was about to say unfortunate experience with bees. Well, with that particular type of bee. So that created a phobia when it came to all bees. And so then I had to learn over time that all bees are not that type of bee, and had to go through that whole, process of healing, because I was really traumatized by bees. I had a little phobia of it. So what I'm getting at is, don't be afraid to transform and to have to go through the process of whatever pain, no matter how many times it repeats, happens to you, because you are transforming into something very rare, and a butterfly is very, very rare, and the types of butterfly, look at this butterfly, it's beautiful, to master that, like, come on, the divine is beautiful. So it breaks down to the second house when it makes you think of recreation and who can recreate and what can recreate. The woman, the fourth house, the second house, right? That's what allows us to have the 11th house, because the 11th house is all about groups and friendships and how we get back to the world. So this transformation is beautiful. And since we do have 11 out here, the 11th house is Aquarius energy, and that's the new season after Capricorn that's going to be coming up at the end of January. So just wanted to throw that out here, because I think that article said, what was it, January 19th of 2022? And yeah, I think January the 20th, starts Aquarius season. So that is what we were talking about. That's air, not air. So that is like we said, getting out of your head, the mind, really relaxing the mind and understanding that wisdom comes from a much deeper place. It goes through checkout through the mind. So imagine a library, like your mind is just the checkout, you're checking out the book. So which means if you are the library, the book was already within you. So you have to allow something deeper to help guide you on this journey, collective, so that way you can recover the right keys as you journey and open the doors that don't set you back or keep you on a karmic cycle that isn't teaching you a valuable lesson anymore at that point, because you've outgrown the lesson, because all lessons are valuable. But at some point, the game gets old. A shoe gets old, the story gets old if you don't know how to tell it in a more creative way. So that's beautiful. All right. The Wheel of Fortune, the High Priestess. Everyone is waking up to today gifts. I'm telling you. The Wheel of Fortune, the High Priestess. Recovering with the key, true knowledge, intuition. This is all crown chakra. And I have the purple lighter. I was about to say red. So this is beautiful energy. This is beautiful energy. Wait a minute. Yeah, at peace. Four of Swords, Death card in reverse, Three of Cups in reverse. Yeah. Again, the transformation. A lot of resistance or trying to hold on to or being in denial or being in some type of hurt and pain for too long and needing to come out of it and celebrate and understand that you're ready for this new journey. No matter what group or in collective with this full moon in Cancer, it's all about moving forward and not being afraid to move forward and recovering a new chapter, a new experience within your life that's going to transform it. But understanding that the wisdom and the knowledge you gained before this journey prepared us no matter what for this new opportunity. So don't hold yourself back, right? Because you know what you need to do. You're very highly intuitive. You're very gifted. You're very smart. You're very intelligent. And you know the game. You know the game. And you know how to allow something to take its course. So the truth has come in for everyone collective, no matter what, about what hurts us and what doesn't hurt us, what's good for us, what's not good for us, what heals us, what doesn't heal us, what brings us peace, what doesn't bring us peace, what brings us happiness, what doesn't bring us happiness. And so you got to let everyone on the outside just be on the outside, and you got to take a moment to what self and be a lone wolf and deal with the truth. The Three of Swords is all about heartbreak, about an ending, about a death. And look right here, the transformation is trying to occur and there's some type of stagnant energy. But this is also about a period of rest, because the butterfly, once it goes into the cocoon, well, once the butterfly goes into the cocoon, well, yeah, because it is, the caterpillar, it takes a period of rest. So what I see, since we're at the four, we're really at the ace, which means we're already at the Ten of Swords, because the Ten of Swords is the ace. It's that new beginning. So everyone's in transition either between the 4 to the 9 or the 10, and then you have the ace over here. And then we're bringing in celebration and wisdom. So there is victory at the end of all of this. There is opportunity for something to come in that's going to allow us to transform in a beautiful way. But right now, a lot of us collective, you're not supposed to be seen, is what I'm also hearing. Some of you guys you're in a process of needing to recover. Some of you guys, I just see the collective in the sense of the ones that had been like underground hermit mode, or, like there's some very educated and smart and wise and gifted individuals coming out of this cycle. And what we thought was taken from us really was recovered in a completely different way. Some of us tapped in some really good gifts and skills. Some of us just recovered who we are, recovered ourselves, recovered our mind back, our heart back, our spirit back. And we know who we are. And we're in a period of being okay and at peace with it. We're okay with the transformation. We're wise to understand when to move forward, when not to move forward, when to hold on, when to let something go. So that's for some of the collective. But overall, no matter what, I see the collective just in a transformational period. And what you haven't dealt with, I'm telling you right now, this year is going to bring it out. No matter what, everyone's in the cocoon. Period. Everyone's in the cocoon. So that means we're all becoming butterflies. The thing is, once you become a butterfly, you still have another stage after that, because all butterflies don't make it. So collective, we're already in the cocoon. You can't stop this transformation. You can't stop this change, this new shift, this new wave that's going to come in. It's based upon who you were shooting with in the spiritual library gym, is what I call it. Who you was studying with, how you was passing your test and everything, because now everyone's going into a new classroom. Everyone's going into a brand new season. Everyone's in a different grade level. So I'm excited to see what this offers and what this brings in for everyone. But since at the bottom we have expansion, that's a little girl and a woman. She's pregnant with Earth, and it's like stardust. So this reminds me of the 11th house. She had the star energy. And there's like a little whisper into this man, and there's an owl sitting above it. Reminds me of the Hermit, and it's like, if you ever seen the Hermit card, I wish I had it on me. There's a little lantern, and it has a starlight in it. So I see like the starlight being given from the Hermit. So that's High Priestess, higher knowledge, recovery. Some of you guys are getting back 10 times fold what was taken from not only you, but like your bloodline, your ancestral bloodline. And it's a gift from the universe, but it has to do with feminine energy. It's something tapping into the earth's feminine energy. But I see a